is the first Super Bowl that's going to have black quarterbacks.
Yeah.
And despite all the NFL pro ranking, all the analysts, all the predictions, Joe Burrow and what's the name of the Bills guy?
Josh Allen.
Josh Allen.
Josh Allen,
Yes.
yeah.
Were the ones who are tipped to actually be the stars of this year's Super Bowl.
True that.
We saw Super Bowl a quarterback who is arguably to me the best quarterback in the game right now, Mahomes, being written off, and he beat somebody with half a leg.
Yeah.
He couldn't run the whole game, and he beat the favorite quarterback that was seen to win the game. So I just want to throw these questions to you. Actually, let me send this question to you, Brittney. Do you think that there is a complete whitewashing, especially in the star positions in the NFL? Because on paper, black quarterbacks seem to be very good, but they never get the same recognition that white average quarterbacks get, especially white average quarterbacks in good games like Joe Burrow.
I think so. It's like that old good boy. Like, oh my God, the quarterback is like, the whiteness. But I do want to just say, I saw something on Twitter that was a little unhinged. So it was like the two black quarterbacks, and they were like, y'all know which one to root for. And it was like the one who didn't have like a white wife and a mixed kid. So they were like, they're both black, but type vibe. You know what I'm saying? So I just wanted to throw that out there. I don't have an opinion.
Yeah,
on it, but,
and I've always been curious, like why the athlete world, because there's I mean, not all of them, but there's quite a good number of them who choose to have white wives. Like is there typically a reason behind that?
I would honestly, I try to think positive and say, like, so for my brother, he plays basketball in college. The schools that these players are aiming to go to, these D1s, are usually full of white
schools,
women.
yeah.
They're white schools, so they
I usually meet these girls at college.
They meet them in college, So I don't know. I want to think it's that way, but it may be other reasons. I don't know.
Dr. Umar Johnson doesn't agree with this.
Before we go
LeBron,
before we go into that
in the
rabbit
tangent.
let's come back.
Yeah.
Let's come
Bring
back.
it back.
Let's bring it back. So, Uno, what do you think? Is there an over whitewashing of quarterbacks? Do you believe that a quarterback like Mahomes is getting the recognition that he deserves?
No, and even Jalen Hurts is not getting, because there's somebody actually who posted something. Jalen Hurts' dad is a coach.
Is a coach, yeah.
I think high school, but he's a coach. But that spotlight would not be on him.
Yeah.
If Joe Burrow's dad was a coach, I don't know. Let me tell you, they would have done a background of a background of a background from his great-great-great-grandfather all the way to Joe. How he started, how he whatever.
Yeah.
But you do not get that. You do not. The only thing that probably we know about Patrick Mahomes is that his dad was a baseball player. Other than that,
actually, most people have never seen the picture. His dad was
a
showed
baseball
on the media. This is this game that they won the last time, even during the Super Bowl. Pictures that were put on the media were of him and his mom.
McCaffrey. Everyone knows McCaffrey's
the running back.
Yes, everyone knows that McCaffrey comes from a sports household. Father played for the Broncos, won 2 Super Bowls. The mother was a sports, either basketball, netball, something was a sport. But that is all. So the pedigree, the what, we used to do this. But you don't even get that from Hurts. Anything about what do you know about Jalen Hurts apart from having to transfer from Alabama because Tua KKK.
But this is why, as black people, black Americans, Africans, this is why we have to come up with our own media and do our own stories.
Yeah, the narratives.
Yeah, because
Roland Martin.
Because we're clearly and Roland Martin is doing a good job at what he's doing, but we need not just news media, we need sports media, we need all other kinds of media to highlight this, because the quarterback position has essentially become a black position, you know.
It has.
Yeah, because for a
Yeah.
long time, you know, like there was very few black quarterbacks. And the black quarterback comes in with a different style and flavor from that traditional quarterback. When you look at all white quarterbacks, you know, Tom Brady,
Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers, they're all very one-dimensional. We know exactly what they're going to do. But with black quarterbacks, you know, starting with the likes of Michael Vick and Mahomes that we have right now in Hurts,
Cam Newton.
they're very athletic, you know, like they have more weapons.
These
you
white
know.
men are holding on by a string.
Yes. So
It's
you
called
know,
white fright.
so you see that they come in, they've totally changed that position. And what I like about sports is you can't hide winning.
No.
You can't hide winning. You
Yeah.
can hide a story. You can hide, you know, like highlighting a background, but you can't hide winning. And that's the reason why I think, you know, like as black people, we just need to invest more, you know, like in our media. You know, like there's
But
this
we
guy called
have media pages.
we do have media, but we've not invested in the level, considering, you know, like the
Yeah.
NFL is essentially, the NBA is a black league. The NFL,
The NFL is a black league.
is also
NFL is
a black league.
league.
Is also a black league. We need to have our own media, you know, covering them in the way we want.
And speaking of a black of a black league, I'm gonna use that to segue into my next question, whereby we're having a history being made. For the first time, we're having a black female coach in the Super Bowl. The assistant coach for strength and conditioning for the Eagles, Miss Autumn.
Mm-hmm.
She'll be the first black woman to coach in the Super Bowl. We saw the Commanders have
Yes.
a black running back coach,
Mm-hmm.
who's also a lady, and there's been debate about positions, especially meaningful positions in the NFL. There's been a debate about coaches in the NFL. Do you feel by the inclusion, this is going to be, I think, the fourth woman who's coaching on the NFL? In the NFL right now, the San Francisco 49ers have a coach.
There was a Frisco.
Yeah, they have a
49ers,
coach, and
yeah.
then there's another one, I think, at the Panthers, or she's the two white women coaches and two black women coaches.
Mhm.
Now, do you feel this is enough diversity from the NFL? Because there's been talk about black people not having high positions. You don't have enough black GMs. You don't have enough black coaches. You have a lot of black coordinators, a lot of black assistant coaches. Are they using these smaller coaching positions to add on their diversity number, or do you feel the diversity on the NFL is okay right now?
No. As far as leadership is concerned, it's definitely not. As far as, you know, like team leadership is concerned, it's definitely not, because you have all these black coaches who are very accomplished
Yeah.
and who can get the job done, but they're not getting those top jobs. You remember what happened with I think it was Miami, you know, like where this New England coach mistakenly texted the black coach, thinking who had a
texted the white
similar
coach.
name.
Yeah.
Mhm. So you can tell, you know, like there's clearly, you know, like a hierarchy of how they want things to work out. A league that has totally changed when it comes to that has made much more progress is, of course, the National Basketball Association. That's the NBA. But the NFL is still a white boys club.
It is.
And even
First
when
of
it comes
all-
to ownership.
Oh my God! You
Yeah.
took the words out my mouth. I was gonna say they won't even let a black man buy an
Yeah.
NFL team
Mhm.
at this point.
And it's all like the
Who
black
have
people don't have money.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they won't.
Yeah,
They want it to stay an old boys club.
Mm-hmm. So you see, it's one of those things that the league itself, you know, like I think, you know, like because I think, you know, like the NFL is a different sport where most players have a very short lifespan in the league.
True.
The reason why we see a long lifespan is because these popular players are the ones who stay for long. But most players, you know, stick out for no more than 3 years, and they're completely out of the league. You know, but I think if the player association could try to work out something so that this can trickle up all the way to the coaching stuff, and this being a black league, I just think, you know, like black coaches better understand, you know, like the emotions of black players way more than a white coach will understand. But again, you know, like maybe we might be told we're overthinking, but clearly there's a problem in that front in the NFL.
Until we
Agreed.
start getting black head coaches, because like now, for example, Lavi Smith was just hired by the Texans to
We
fill
have
a
we have
quota.
Tomlin in Pittsburgh.
All right, and but he only finished one season, I think, and he was fired.
No.
Lovie Smith.
Apana, the
Broncos.
Pittsburgh coach.
No,
I'm
no,
talking
I'm talking
about
about
No,
Broncos.
Pittsburgh
yeah.
are the
I'm
only
talking
ones who have.
Who have a black coach who's been there for a long time.
Yeah, I'm talking about Broncos.
Yeah.
No, sorry, Houston Texans.
Yeah,
The Texans, Lovie Smith, I think only survived one,
yeah.
right? Offensive coordinator for the Chiefs. The Chiefs have been to the AFC Championship, what, 4 years? 5 years. Offensive coordinator has not even been given a look. I think Brian Flores is the coach you're talking about,
Yeah,
who actually was even doing a better job. Miami was improving.
They were winning games.
They were
yeah.
winning games.
Yeah.
He got fired. And that's where he sued. So we first have to at least get to that level of coach. You can see coaches, if you see, because majority of the assistant coaches, defensive coaches, running back coaches or whatever, are black guys.
Yeah,
When you look at the sideline, look at the coaches. You'll see, for example, like if you look at let's say Philly, you'll find that or even Pittsburgh, Deuce Staley, guys who are linebackers coach, black guys or whatever. You won't see many white people.
yeah.
But the change has to come where
Not YT, please.
where the change
off
has to come
Twitter.
where we have to start getting head coaches. Jeff Saturday was coaching a high school team, former player with the Colts, Super Bowl winner. That's good, and even he was not like having a good winning record in high school, but was made the Colts head coach.
And the same happens in the NBA. You find people like Steve Nash, never coached before, but is given a potential championship team. And
Yet
this
Mark
also
Jackson,
happens. Yeah.
a
And-
guy who actually was the reason behind the current dub team.
Yeah, and this problem, I'm going to get back to Micah, but this problem is not only in the U.S. We're about to talk about some soccer. This also happens in European soccer leagues where you have a lot of black players, but you'll very rarely find, there's a few that are coming through right now.
Actually,
yeah.
it is a huge
Yeah.
problem in soccer that even in anything.
It's a
in the NFL,
huge
it is
problem.
a huge problem in soccer.
Yeah.
Like, it's so bad. It's
Yeah,
so bad. It's so bad.
terrible.
Yeah, and then
What do you guys think about Deion Sanders leaving Jackson State?
if your working conditions are not conducive, go.
Yeah, but you preached HBCU.
yeah, I know.
Yeah, but the hedges-
I had some mixed feelings about him leaving.
even students themselves were leaving. Ed Reed, who went there and complained and said he saw why Deion left, and they fired him because he was pointing out the truth. Yeah.
No, I had some mixed feelings about Deion Sanders leaving because I think with what he had said, he wasn't going there for the money. He wasn't
Yeah.
going there for the
The
good working
resources,
conditions. He wasn't, and he
yeah.
had done such a good job in making even black kids now declare for HBCUs. I thought he had done a very good job, and then he abruptly left. I think he should have given it at least one more season. But he has his personal
But
reasoning why
He led
did
with the
what he
wrong
did.
reason.
No,
Yeah.
this is the thing, which I'll say is that as a coach, you can only do as much as you're allowed to do. HBCUs, or rather that school, has a lot of politics running into it.
Go to another HBCU.
There was no other HBCU that was offering him a job.
Now you see,
The problem is that people are complaining because he went to a school that has money, right? That school saw the potential and saw him as a coach, what he can do and how good he is.
And I also think,
Look at it this way: even the players who are coming into that school being attracted by him could not get scholarship because they were not being allowed. And it's not that there was not money in the school; the money was just being directed to other places.
for me, I just want to know his long game. Maybe there's something that we don't know.
Maybe
Yeah.
one day he'll come coach Morgan,
Yeah.
or Georgetown,
Howard.
or Howard, yeah, like
Yeah.
or yeah.
But
Yeah.
I think also here's like transparency. Yes, he and he talked about this. Where he talked about, it was not about the money, but you can't tell me 60,000 people have attended, but you only collected money worth 28,000 people. So if 60,000, if 60,000, you have 60,000 fans, let the math.
Anyway.
Yeah.
The math cannot
true.
math.
So-
But there were,
Yeah.
but you see, there were other
That's right.
things.
Yeah,
Uh,
so,
that's-
so there's
that's
a
what I'm
corruption
saying.
issue
The-
which was known,
Yeah.
and he was there trying to fix it. I just felt like he left the stage too soon.
Ali, or
Yeah.
maybe he left the stage before he was fired.
Facts.
You know, there's some times whereby, excuse me, your work environment is so toxic.
It's hostile, yeah.
Yeah, that you decide, okay, fine, let me just, for the betterment of even, or like, if you live with the house burning, you can expose much that will hurt than even fix what you're trying to fix. So for me, I feel like
Yeah,
i-
yeah,
i-
I was,
it was-
I
if it
was-
was
I
if
was
it was me, I
conflicted.
would have walked.
I was conflicted, but then I'm like,
Anyway,
let's see. You know, I'm sure more will come out probably. There's
Yeah.
much that we don't know, but then also, and you know, one final point. I mean, why is it that it has to take Deion to come and change? What about the people, all the people who have gone to that school, everyone who
Facts.
attended those school, graduated or whatever? Why are they not themselves becoming? Where is the alumni?
not everybody is a superhero.
That's what everybody said.
You know,
And
it-
it-
can't
it's
put
not
it
a
on his
superhero.
back.
Yes.
not everybody is a superhero. Not everybody is a leader. That's why I think you have to remember
Yeah,
one mic.
not everybody's not
I
everybody has
No,
the
no, no,
influence
no,
that
no,
he
no,
has.
not. Oh, yeah, and also not everybody is an activist. That is why we have specific people who will go get tear gassed every day,
But
and
that
those
has-
who won't get tear gassed. Yeah,
Agreed.
yeah. Anyway, this is a utaongea social segment. His story. We're gonna move on to soccer. Enough with American football. Let's talk the real football.
And Brittney, did you get to know the difference between football and soccer? Because you were using them interchangeably
Yeah.
in Kenya.
Now I say football.
And that's a yellow flag right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's definitely a vibe
5-yard
killer.
penalty.
It's a vibe killer.
5-yard penalty.
Yellow card.
Anyway, we're gonna move on to soccer where yesterday there was an announcement that
I
was
think
made.
day before yesterday.
It was it was yesterday.
Wednesday.
Oh,
I think
no.
it was Wednesday. Okay,
It
so
was yesterday. Why are you
Okay, sawa.
confusing me? Manchester United player Mason Greenwood was arrested in January 2022 amid allegations surrounding images and videos. He was later charged with attempted rape, controlling and coercive behavior, and assault occasioning actual bodily harm. In a statement that was produced by the Manchester Crown Prosecution Service, said the charges were discontinued after key witnesses withdrew their involvement. A spokesman said, "We have a duty to keep cases under continuous review. In this case, a combination of withdrawal of key witnesses and new material that came to light meant there was no longer a realistic prospect of conviction in these circumstances. We are under a duty to stop the case. We have explained our decision to all parties." With that, it meant that based on Greenwood, charges had been dropped. The club, Manchester United, issued a statement that said that they have read the statement from the Crown Prosecution Services. They are doing their own internal investigation and they will comment later. As it stands, Mason Greenwood is not training or playing with the team. He's still suspended. The team, though, continued paying his salary for the whole year, and they were waiting. So I want to start first with, do you feel the young man deserves a second chance?
Yes, 100%. Because
Before you answer, let me
Yes.
say something. Remember, dropping of charges
It's not equal
is
to
not
it didn't
equal
happen.
to an innocent.
Yeah.
right.
Yeah. It's not equal to it didn't happen.
Because money can make a lot of things happen.
Yes, but again, in this particular instant, if the charges have been dropped, these guys who are investigating have been investigating. They have dug. They have whatever it is that they've done, they've come to the conclusion that it is not going to go forward. That in itself, for me, is a green light for the boy to be given a second chance, because how old is the guy? 21?
21.
21.
When
These
this
are
happened,
young-
he was
20.
20. When the incident happened, he was 18.
When was it? 2020?
So young.
No, when
When
it
it
happened.
happened,
Yeah,
He was young.
because
The video came out.
the thing is that the videos and the screen recordings came from his girlfriend's friend.
Mm-hmm.
So the girlfriend friend is the one who posted them. And this is what Mason Greenwood does to be in private, right? But it came out last year when he was 21, but they say the incident that occurred was when he was 18.
But okay, it may also mean dropping of charges could also mean that there's nothing that ever happened.
Yeah, no, it's 50-50.
It's 50-50.
It's 50-50
Yeah.
here. You don't know.
So with that,
Because remember, we
so with
saw
that-
videos and we saw pictures.
we saw videos, we saw
Yeah.
pictures, but the thing is, like, it's not like the Ray Rice video that came out, because Ray Rice can be seen punching his mama,
Yeah.
can be seen punching,
Now,
and that one in itself, that one, like you don't. But with Mason, it's just somebody recording. I can come over here, I can record this guy doing something, right, and I post it, and like, this is what Micah does.
Now, with such cases, like for me personally, I've learned neither to acquit nor convict, because at the end of the day, the way the legal system works is if they don't have enough they don't have enough evidence that holds weight to garner conviction, they'll drop the case. It doesn't mean it didn't happen. It doesn't mean it happened. It just means whatever they have is not enough.
You're not going to bring a guilty charge.
Yeah, it's not going to bring a guilty charge. So second chance, to me, that's very subjective. That's up to Manchester United to make a determination. But one piece of advice that I can give to a lot of these kids, or if you have a kid who will potentially become like a sports star, you have to start cautioning them very early to stay away from these ratchets. Even if it means just getting a chaperone or someone, because these kids are targets, whether we like it or not.
But
they're targets everywhere they go. They're targets. There are people who'll just wait for them to slip up a bit, take a video, and splash it everywhere.
That's
So they have to be very, very careful.
But one of the things is that one of the things these clubs usually do, especially for these young players that are coming in for the academy, like him, he started playing for them when they were 7. Once they start becoming into that star mold, they usually have somebody who
A chaperone.
Yeah, and they are with them all along, and especially the foreign kids who come from another country. They usually, you're told to come, either to choose somebody to come with you, but there's always somebody from the club in the apartments where they stay who's staying with them, who's always going to be there with them, looking into them, talking into them. Even when you saw the Arsenal documentary on Amazon, you saw Kiriantini, Lokonga, and they had somebody
They
from
had a
the club who was
chaperone, yeah.
staying with them. Yes, so it's usually there. But then again, there's as much as you can chaperone somebody.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
There's where it's up to the morals of how the kid was raised or how the kid is happening.
You can get in bad situations.
Yeah, you can
Yeah,
get
you
a
can get in bad
without even
situation.
know. Yeah, without.
And then remember when you're 20 years old and you're making millions of dollars. That's a situation that we don't. I don't know whether there's anyone here who understands it, but that's a situation. If you get millions of dollars right now at this older age, you might get into confusion. So think about someone who's so young
A
at that
baby.
age, and coming across all this money, not understanding that there's a lot of hostile people out there who want to target
Okay, so
them.
OneMic, Ali, Brittney. Now I want you to take off your regular folks hat and put on a corporate hat. Manchester United is one of the biggest clubs in the world. Manchester United is one of the clubs that has the highest sponsorships in the world, right? It's $1 billion company. How much of a PR headache is this situation to them?
I would let him go.
You would let him go?
Yeah.
It's not worth the trouble.
Yeah,
you
from
can
a
find
corporate
another
perspective-
good guy who can play football.
Yeah, from
From
a
a
corporate
corporate
perspective, you have no
perspective.
choice. You really
Yeah.
have no choice. I know Manu said they will review.
Yeah.
But that review, they're just saying.
The review is communication. Is
The-
usually a legal process of talking to their sponsors,
Yeah.
engaging their team,
No, but
gauging employees, because he's an employee too. So they have to gauge the employee.
The risk isn't worth the reward.
Yeah,
and
but
then
I think
if
the
it comes
review,
out-
they just
The-
don't announce it right
No,
away.
they
just want to announce it right
No,
away.
the thing is this: Mason Greenwood is a very good player,
Let me tell you.
and he's young. He's a generational talent.
It's gonna take a hit, yes.
It's
But
good-
let me tell you.
because
you can find another one.
he's a player. No, they're generational talents and they're
See?
normal talents.
Football versus soccer. Right.
It's not like looking for a running back who will just get a kid running.
This is what I'll say. Fine, you can let him go. But right now, and he said it's 50-50. Right now, the feeling and the mood is that this young
But-
man was set up. That's fine.
No.
You let him go.
But Uno, let me ask you something. You are the director of Nike.
Yes.
You see somebody post a video of Mason Greenwood's girlfriend with a black eye
Uh-huh.
and say, Nike, is this what you're sponsoring?
Mm-hmm.
How will you take that?
You see, first, you have to put out a report. We have to wait until everything.
Yeah, but
Is investigation.
there's still going to
That's
be.
fine.
There's
So
still
you're
going
going
to be.
you're going to take a
No,
hit, yes,
let's
because
say the
people
the
boycott.
investigation is over. The kid is playing again.
Yes.
He's wearing Manchester United.
Yes.
He has his endorsements are back, right?
Mm-hmm.
How do you handle the blowback? Because there is going to be blowback.
But-
a
but-
lot
but
of
see-
But
it.
see,
you
the
know-
blowback can be twofold.
How?
Because one, there are guys who are going to boycott. That's fine because they're like, you know what, no matter what, because there are people who think there's a school of thought that says that, you know what, just because he has been let go does not mean that it did not happen. Yes, but you also have the other school of thought that says, you know what, if he was let go, that means that he was framed. So I'm going to support this guy.
But let me say
The
something
choice
real
is
quick.
yours.
Mika, let me say something real quick. You know, when you're in a position of power, decision making, like you're the director, things happen so fast when you're up there. Meaning, you know, like you can't even wait for the investigation because you know what happens? Your stock start losing value.
Yeah, with the council culture that we have right now.
With the cancel culture, you know, like there's so many things that can happen so fast. That's why I'm saying, just from a realistic perspective, you know, like if you're the director up there where things are happening so fast, you know, the work culture is not waiting for an investigation. The work culture is not waiting to see, you know, like whether this was innocent or guilty. So you have to make a decision. In fact, this is where that philosophy of a bad decision is better than indecision. You have to make a decision very quick. Yes, a bad decision
But
is
then
always
remember,
better than indecision.
Ali, remember also,
Yes,
you
yes.
cannot just terminate his contract because legally he
Yes,
can sue
you cannot just do that right away. You cannot just do that right away, but you have to do something, because if you just say, oh, you know, like I'm waiting to see what will happen, then there's ramifications associated with that, which can include, you know, like
I will wait. If Mason Greenwood was white, I would like to see what if there would be a whole restructuring and firing and whatever, and whole discussion on what and how to work with this guy and whatever.
Are you saying if Mason Greenwood was Good Johnson?
Boss,
Remember, Good Johnson raped somebody and he walked away, and he still played until he retired. Big
I
Ben did the same thing, right?
I rest my case.
Anyway,
Moving on.
moving on.
I
from
rest
that.
my case
No.
because
But
this
no,
whole
but no, but
discussion is because of Mason Greenwood
I'm with-
being black.
I'm with
That's
Ali.
right,
I'm
that's
with
it.
Ali and Brittney. He is burnt goods.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
damaged goods.
Let
He's
it burn.
damaged goods.
He's damaged goods.
Yeah.
I wouldn't keep. He's
On to
damaged
the
goods.
next one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's damaged goods. Okay, so
Now, a
Uh,
quick comment here is coming
Mason,
from
you deserve a second chance.
yeah,
bro.
let me read some comments here. Polo Kwom says these clubs always have a chaperone whose job is to make sure if they have a vice that vice is taken care of undercover. Drugs, women, alcohol, whatever, as long as you make it to practice, no one cares. That is why
no,
Robinho,
they care.
Wagner Love, Ronaldinho fell off. Unless the guy was married before, being big, they will provide. I don't know exactly what that means, that last part. And then Stephen Batty says Kobe Bryant suffered the same fate. Ben Roethlisberger had the same issue, and look what happened later. There are wash people who do great PR out there.
But the thing is this: the difference between Kobe, the difference between all these players is that even for Kobe, it was Kobe versus the one who alleged that she was abused, right?
Mm-hmm.
There was no evidence. Like for Mason thing is that
There's
videos, there's
Yeah.
pictures
Yeah, so that becomes problematic.
that shows the guy, and
Listen,
the only thing that I hear where you're coming from is when they say
there is always
Well,
video
no,
of
no,
black people
no,
being killed,
no,
but people discuss.
true.
If a white guy gets killed, oh my god.
true.
Come
and
on,
that's
man.
what I'm saying. With the thing they said,
Come on.
new material coming up, which means probably new evidence that proved he's innocent. As in, that's the only thing I can say that will give it up to you. If they open up what new material came up, and they were genuinely open about how the case came to it being dropped, then maybe we can say that it can be an easy fix be an easy fix for them. But for this one, he is banned goods.
But I'm just saying, like
terrible.
from like just being, like in the corporate world and from that level, and I see sometimes even within our company, when something so small has happened on social media, someone has said something, I usually can see the way so many people circle around it before it goes around, before anything happens. Like things have to happen, and I know, this works a lot against, like black athletes and black people, and that's the reason why sometimes for me personally, I never want to be in that position of where I have to make a decision where if I don't, it's probably gonna cost the company for whatever reason, whether it's unfair, whether it's fair. But I'm just talking now from a perspective of someone who has to swing in and make a decision.
Fine. Remember the story of the guy who was killed in Kenya, the gay guy, Chiloba.
Yeah.
Before it came out that it was a lover's quarrel.
Yeah.
What was the
people the LGBT crowd was saying that he was killed because he was gay.
It was but the thing was it was happening,
and that
LGBT
story went round so fast, and not only the LGBT community, even guys like Boniface Mwangi, like even a lot of other people kept reposting the same narrative.
Then what happened eventually?
Then the police came out and gave a report, and it was actually the boyfriend or the person who he was having an affair with that killed him.
Okay.
And that's and unfortunately,
but like you said, decision rather than indecision. Carry on.
Let's make it easy. The guy has been charged. They arrested 5 guys. 4 of them have been released. Only 1 is being charged. So if that guy walks away, does that narrative come back into fruition that he was killed because he was a gay guy?
We don't know now.
That's what I'm saying.
We don't know.
Until we get to the end of this. There's a difference between charges being dropped and an innocent conviction.
Right.
Right?
Yes.
So until that case ends, we cannot say he killed or he didn't kill.
But so far right now, there's no conviction for Mr. Greenwood.
Yeah, there's no conviction.
Okay.
There's no conviction, but guess what? Because charges being dropped doesn't mean the case is over. It means they're keeping the file open. If any evidence comes up, they can reopen the file and charge him again.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. That's why
it's like Uhuruto Moreno Campos still has their file.
That is why I said. That's why I said.
Oh my God, let it go.
That's why I said.
Moreno Campos still has their file.
That's why I said he is damaged goods.
Yeah.
So I want to shout out my sister really quick, you guys.
Shout out.
She's at home watching this. She said, "Hey, Brittney, from your favorite sister. Thank you, babe. I love you."
Oh.
Dariona Smith.
No, we love you too, sister.
All right, and then, okay, so let me wrap up this segment. So over the past year, we've had several black footballers getting charged with these sexual offenses, right? We had Benjamin Mendy of...
formerly of City.
No, he's still a City player.
I thought he was let go.
I don't think did they let him go?
I'm not sure if he was.
I don't know if okay. So
Mendy had 12 cases against him.
So far 9 have been
dropped.
Wow.
And He has 3 remaining, and they're saying they're likely going to be dropped. Thomas Partey of Arsenal has 2 cases against him.
Mm-hmm.
One was dropped completely. That one was, what do they call it? When the time is too long, you can't report again.
Or statute.
Statute of limitations.
Yes.
Yeah, statutory
Mhm.
limitation.
Yeah, because apparently in England, if something happens out of the country, you have a certain amount of time to report it
Okay.
before they can investigate it.
Mm-hmm.
So one was dropped. The other one is out on bail, and chances of it being dropped are high. Yves Bissouma
Mm-hmm.
had 2 cases against him that they've not even been. He's not even been charged yet. They are still looking for evidence or whatever, but chances of it going to trial are very low. There is one common factor in all these cases:
There is.
YT.
race. The race.
Now, Mika, here's one thing. You know, like, these kids are targets. They clearly know they're targets. And that's why I think they should just start moving differently.
I didn't even ask my question.
Okay, let me finish.
No, I know you've not finished. But that's just one thing, you know, like, and especially if you're a parent who has a kid that's gonna become, you know, like an athlete. Brittney, I know your child plays your son plays football. You just gotta be, you know, like, you just gotta be on top because they are targets.
Me and his dad do not play the funny business. That's all
Yes.
I'm going to say. So he watches Louis Farrakhan videos, you know.
Okay.
Dr. Umar as well.
Oh,
you know?
nice.
So
Gonna grow up woke.
I think that it's a business at the end of the day. So you have to, a lot of these men, when you have good black women behind you, good family behind you, like Kevin Durant and things like that, like when your feet are on the ground and you're solid, you can kind of grow up
LeBron
and
James,
see these signs.
Mhm.
LeBron James
Mhm.
holding it down with Savannah.
Yeah.
When you're lost in the sauce, you become a target. So at the end of the day, it's almost like the people who pull out in front of you in Atlanta and slow down so you can hit them, insurance fraud. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Sports people are becoming, entertainers in general become a target with these things because nowadays it doesn't have to be even the truth. You know, if you can just scare them and back them into a corner,
Yeah.
you can get a settlement. If you have just enough, maybe.
Yeah.
You know? Or if they have too much to lose and they want to just like, you know,
Let it go.
let it go. So I don't know. I was talking to my son about consent, even like hopefully by the time he gets to that age, there's an app or something where a lady
Where you
has
confirm
to
the
sign.
signature, yeah.
Yeah, because I was telling him that. Like
Even when
at
she
this
says yes,
age,
you
Yeah,
know,
you,
like-
you know the funny thing is that these days not these days. It's normal in life. Consent can be withdrawn while you are in the act of.
While in the act of doing
managing
it.
my
Yeah.
challenges.
somebody, oh my God, I was just reading about that. on
Yeah, like
Twitter.
somebody can
Even when-
decide halfway and they're like, no, I don't want to continue.
Yeah.
And then you continue from then
After
on you're
they've
raping
already
them.
said
Then,
yes.
then it legally
Yeah.
becomes rape.
Yeah, then
So
you're
I
raping
did
them. Yeah.
consent, but I changed my mind. Yeah, it becomes too much. I don't know.
No, and I think that's why for boys, they just have to be very careful. You know, like
Yeah.
you maintain social distance. You maintain social distance. And even if she says yes, she gotta say yes like 3 times. You know,
Yeah.
like, and now, like you're saying, it's gonna get to a point where there has to be an app. You know,
I've
like
taught
where.
my son, like, you have to say, can I hold your hand? Is it okay if I hug you? Is it okay if I touch your shoulder? Like, do not assume.
Even complimenting these days, you're like,
Yeah. Can I call you pretty?
Yeah, you have to you have to be, as in.
Yeah, so as boys, you have to be aware of that. If you're raising a boy, you just have to make them aware of that.
Yeah.
Because
So my question my question was actually a little bit different.
You said, why are they all black?
No, my question was, are these young black athletes setting themselves up by the choices they make romantically?
well,
I don't feel like getting ate up on YouTube. so-
Because the thing is this, let's be honest. There's a millionaire.
Honesty is the best policy.
There's a millionaire. He goes to the club, right? The country he lives in, or the clubs he go in, the demographic of people who go there are not looking like him. They look different. Why? Because if he's in London, he's hanging out in Soho.
Mhm.
top end club, right?
Yeah, with white people.
With white people.
Yeah.
The women who are going to be there are going to be white women, right? If he goes home with these women and he pays them, or they expect him to pay them because they're going with him, they have an orgy. And then at the end of the day, in the morning, when the chaperone comes to clear out everybody, the girl says, I was raped because the agreement didn't go through. Are they setting themselves up?
I have a solution for them. It's very simple.
Yeah.
Ashley Madison, story measure.
Ashley Madison is
But
the
then
one.
you-
Is the
the
one who
service.
used to
But
the
then-
service.
Uno.
That is it.
Uno, remember. Premier League players pays for prostitutes.
Yeah. So that's.
Do you
also
remember?
another-
Do you
yeah.
remember who got that headline?
The governor of Korea.
No. Which
The-
Premier League player got that headline when he was 16?
Oh, Rooney.
Yeah. Do you
You see,
think? Do you think? Do you think the club wants that?
No, he doesn't want that.
Do
you know what they don't
think
want
he
also?
wants that too? Because
Do you know also what they don't want?
what?
That he Premier League player rapes.
Yeah, but Uno.
I would rather pay for prostitution.
The thing with men,
than
the problem
accused
with
of rape, because you
the
know what?
the problem
It's
with
2,000 years old
but
plus.
but then guess what? The problem with men is ego. A man's ego feels good if I can pull 5 chicks to go with me to my hotel room. I'm the king. You can tell me shit.
And
I
then-
can
and
pay
then
for
they-
five.
No,
I'm
you
rich,
can-
I
you
can
know.
pay 5.
I would
No,
rather
would you?
I would rather my son or a man just get a prostitute.
Yeah, no,
but
it's
let's remember.
it's the easiest way.
Thank you.
It's the easiest way.
It's transactional.
No, it's the easiest way. But guess what? Most people won't do that
But let's
because
remember.
most men won't do that because
we
of
are-
their ego.
No, forget about men. We're forgetting these are young.
And then these
kids.
are young kids.
We're forgetting that we
These
were
are young
once, we
kids
were once
who want
21
to,
years old.
These are young kids who want to
We-
brag to their friends.
We are quickly forgetting
Yo,
that.
bro, yesterday
No,
from
not
the
even,
club, I
yeah.
picked you who and who and
Not,
who.
not even bragging, Mika. We forget that we're 21 years old. Like meeting a chick somewhere. And hooking up with them. That was
It was
normal
excitement,
behavior.
yeah.
That
I
was
don't
normal
know.
behavior. There was nothing wrong.
It's more of a flex to be like, because even Lil Baby was like, I would rather
But
take
boss,
home
we
a
didn't
girl
have
and
money.
pay. Exactly.
Ali, we didn't have money.
No, but Brittney.
You
Lil
can't
Baby's
compare.
like,
You
I'd
can't
rather
compare us at
take home a
21.
girl and pay so I can send her black ass out.
Do you
when
know
I'm
what?
Done.
Do you know
Like,
what? Do you know
what I'm saying?
Do you know?
Of course, I can get 30 girls to come home with me because they like me. I don't want that because I.
But
can just pay for someone who's gonna leave.
do you know what? For him to pay is because he can afford and he can do that, right?
Yeah.
For him, but guess what? For normal human being, it's a flex. For normal guys,
Of course, but
But
y'all
it-
don't
it-
have to worry about consent. So
but we
most,
forget.
most normal guys aren't being hit with lawsuits for consent.
No.
Most normal guys.
No,
come
no,
on,
no,
bro.
no, 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 no.
Hey,
Most normal.
hey,
No, 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 no,
hey.
no,
Brittney,
no.
don't say that,
No,
don't say that.
Most
No.
normal guys.
No.
Who's suing you guys for money over consent?
Oh.
Brittney, there's let's let me tell you something.
Have you been sued for consent?
Let me tell you, just
No.
because
You
because
pay
it's
her
not
to leave.
just because it's not on the news.
That's
There's a
because only the
comedian who
news.
said
It
you pay
doesn't mean
doesn't mean it's not
happen.
happening.
Somebody sued you for money.
It's
No,
happened. No,
ju-
no,
ju-
for my,
just
you
because
never.
it's-
There's character distraction, right?
I don't know.
Yeah, it happens.
It
a lot.
happens. It happens.
It happens a
more,
lot.
It happens more than you
It
think.
happens a lot, and then
It happens more than you think. And then you know what's even worse is now people even inboxing and calling people who are not involved, like, why aren't you saying something about that?
So-
Which is even worse.
Let me give you an example, right? You decide you're going with him, right?
Let's go.
Yeah. Somewhere in
on
that,
fire.
somewhere in that night, or somewhere in between, somebody guilt trips you, or maybe even in your conscience, like,
Oh my God, you went home with him.
yeah, right. And guess what you say?
He made me.
He forced me.
Yeah. That happens.
That happens a lot.
That happens. And I'll tell you, in certain situations, where where absolutely nothing happened, but you get accused of trying to do something, of
Yeah.
trying to make something happen, and then it goes through character. These things happen. Let me tell you.
And
if-
then
if
another
you
thing,
go-
another
if-
thing,
if you
another
go
thing is
into-
another thing is this. Even prostitutes do realize. Oh, he raped me.
He didn't pay.
Yeah, it's simple as that. They're
And
like,
that is
oh.
why you go to Ashley Madison.
And you see, that's why, you know,
You
that
go.
If
you have
Somebody
no
said,
no Polocom said here.
Anasema, you guys are too broke to be sued for consent.
no, I mean, you know, like,
I mean,
it's okay to say that until the date happens.
The date happens to you.
It's okay to say this because these things, you know, like,
Because the thing is this, you say he forced me, right? You
I'd rather say not broke, but
no, forget broke, Uno, we're broke, right? But then you, because of whatever reason, you decided to say he forced you, right? When you say he forced you, you're telling your friends. One of your friends is like, what the fuck, he forced you? Calls 911. The cops come in.
so there's a case.
There's a case already. You didn't mean to get this case started because you wanted money. You were doing it just to protect
The
your
morale of it,
your dignity and out of anything. By the time you realize,
And then the other thing that happens is that now people who are not involved, you're being told, because this has happened to me, has happened to him, you know, you're being told, oh, why are you silent about this? You guys are complicit. So there's
we were called names.
There's a daisy chain. There's a daisy chain that goes round, whereby like you are not there, you never saw, but you're expected to have an opinion of what happened. And when you stay silent, you know you're referred to as being complicit.
My experience has taught me I will stay silent. My experience have been burned.
He's been burned. No,
I even said if it's my daughter,
you know what?
That one will have to. I would have to smoke
No. Maybe if it's my daughter, I'll shoot.
No.
I'll shoot you, even if you're innocent. But the thing is this.
You see, that's the
but the thing is this.
No.
I understand you. I understand where you're coming from, because the thing is, when these things were happening and we were approached, we were not even approached. We were accosted as a radio station, and we were told, point this thing out.
Yeah.
He decided to post it out.
No, we didn't do it as a radio.
No, we didn't do it as a radio.
No, wait, I didn't do anything.
No.
They're costing.
No, OneMic. There's one you posted. You had to go and retract your statement.
No, that was outside of this.
Oh,
Yeah.
That was outside of this.
That was outside.
That was outside of this.
Yeah.
But it's also because the first time being banned several times. So even when being told, go ahead and say this, I'm like, I'm not gonna say that. I'm not, because like, okay, is there a case going on? Has the person reported? Has the person filed a case? Or they're not feeling to? Then, okay, if nothing is going on, in what capacity am I just saying this?
No, the other thing, I
did that. So I decide I'm not going to do that. But a few years down the road, I go and open my big ass mouth. I had to retract.
Let me tell you something. When I've been approached so many times by why you're not speaking about this. I have spoken in a different platform, and I spoke because the lady was my friend, right? And luckily it was true. Not luckily, unluckily it was true. And I told the guy, you are lucky I'm not close to you because of the whooped your ass. But the thing that I do is, what is the name of Lisa Sweeney when she came here?
Yeah.
She gave us a lot of resources, especially for when somebody gets abused, on how to report and take care, how to take them through the whole process. I usually guide somebody through that process, tell them this is what you're supposed to do this, and this, and this. Because the one thing that most victims actually fear, and most people don't realize, that interview by the police is more intrusive than the rape. The cops ask you questions in such a way you feel shameless. You not shameless. You feel, you look at yourself and you feel bad, because before even they pick up the case and charge somebody, they have to be sure.
Yeah, because
so they will poke holes on you. Are you sure? Are you sure you didn't lead him on? You didn't. And you've been raped, and somebody's asking you if you're sure that you didn't lead them on.
But you know,
it's intrusive.
But you know, overall,
so most women don't want to go through with that.
Yeah, but you know, overall, just to wrap this conversation, I personally think, you know, like with all these changes that have been happening in the world, I think the people who are hurting or affected the most are the actual victims. because
Nobody believes you.
yeah, the actual victims, because there's so much noise now coming from all these other kinds of scenarios, yet we have actual victims who are suffering, but I think those are the ones who get hurt because
They
now
are
they
the most.
also get bundled. They also get bundled in with the noise that's happening, and that's the
Because-
reason why this noise
Because
should
all
be
of a sudden,
reduced.
because someone else, okay, what makes you think? Are you sure? Are you sure this truly happened? Now, because like now, for example, like now with the cases that Micah is talking about, you find that cases are being, in as much as they are being dismissed, or the charges are being dropped or whatever. Again, it's 50-50. But many people will be like, okay, so this did not happen then, and that is somebody's conclusion. And that is what this someone is going to take. They'll be like, you know what? So after all this, so this guy gets arrested, he's paraded, whatever they've posted video, they've posted text messages or whatever, and then the case is dropped. So she was lying. That's it.
That's why I say, like at the end of the day,
'Cause you
the-
think
the
about
people,
it.
the people
Drop
who
doesn't
are
always mean she was lying.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe she could
Yeah.
be tired,
Yeah.
or she just wants a settlement. She wants it to be over with.
yeah, that's right. Drop
There's a
doesn't
lot
mean
of
yeah.
different,
Drop doesn't mean like
And drop
even
could also
even
mean
with evidence.
You've
Yeah,
been intimidated.
Yeah.
You've been
Could have,
harassed.
yes.
Like, there's
And
it
many
could be either
different
or.
aspects.
Exactly.
it could be either or.
So yes, so I agree in one aspect, but when you say dropped does not necessarily mean that it did not happen. Dropped could also mean that nothing happened.
Yeah, it
No,
could be
no,
that.
Yeah.
no,
Listen,
no, no.
innocent until proven
No,
guilty.
Uno,
Let's leave it at that.
Uno,
Trust me. Let's
Uno.
leave it at that.
How?
We were not discussing.
I know.
We are not the court of law
No,
here.
we're not.
We are not discussing the guilt or the.
No.
All we are doing, we were just putting in context to understand that drop doesn't mean this. So when
And
you
could also mean.
yeah, so yeah, and honestly, I just want to put a disclaimer. Koje. Just because OneMic said Greenwood acheze, it doesn't mean that OneMic supports abuse. Mnapenda kujijazia.
Msijajazia.
I want to see men become more sticklers about consent as well.
No, actually, it is a very. You're right about that, and it's something that.
Define that. I'd
Men
like you to
get their consent taken advantage of many situations,
Yep.
but I feel like it's less of a safe space for men to speak out.
Yep.
Or
Okay.
it's like taking jokingly.
Yep. Like
But
Ali, mimi nimelewa. Okay, let me say it in English. I'm drunk.
Yeah.
I'm in the club, I'm drunk, right? And then Brittney says, I'm taking him home. You guys will be like, okay.
Good night.
Did I consent to that?
Yeah.
I didn't
Or
consent
like
to
if I walk up, if we're
Yeah.
in the club and I walk up to you and put my hand on your chest,
that.
it's like, oh, but if you walk up to me in the club and put
And
your,
you-
I'm like, excuse me,
That's a very good
but then
discussion
again,
to have.
yeah, but then again, I think like
good for the goose,
no,
it's
this
good
is
for the
this
gander.
this is speaking this is speaking as a man, because we're different, we're created differently.
that's not fair.
No,
That's
no, no,
progressive.
let me
It's
say something.
2023.
Let me say something. Let me say something. Like for example, if Brittney comes and touches me, there's no regardless of whether I consented to it or not, I'm not I'm not under threat
No.
at that particular point.
No.
I can always just be like, okay, politely, please don't touch me. After I told you please don't touch me and you still insist on doing that, then I think then
Hold
that
up.
becomes
You've
a
never
problem.
been touched inappropriately?
What do you mean by
I've seen you being touched inappropriately until you've been uncomfortable, until you kick somebody. You've never been touched
yes,
inappropriately.
it does happen.
Yes.
It does happen sometimes.
So
I
how
want
do you
the same
how do you
reaction
negotiate
towards
there?
men
Yeah.
being
How do you
inappropriately
negotiate-
So I
touched?
think here I think here's a problem. I think the thing is with men, we do not even in that case where you've been touched, like inappropriately. I think maybe the way we've been cultured and just our mindset, we'll just let it go.
Let
That's
me-
what I'm
let-
speaking
let-
out against.
let-
That's what I
we'll
just
just let
said.
it go.
I
Yeah.
want
Let me say
men-
something here.
Yeah.
I love we close this, Nini. So, 2021 in Clubhouse, there was a big talk about this abuse, right?
Yes.
There are people who came and were there, and then people were like, we don't want you in these spaces because you're an abuser, right? And it was a big debate, but then abusers had to go. Then a guy inboxed me and told me, I know you guys are talking about abusers. There's a chick here who abused me.
Wow. Okay. Now
And I was like, how? He told me, nilikuwa nimelewa, I was drunk. She took me home. He did stuff to me. And the guy was actually very traumatized. And
those things happen.
And guess what? He told me the reason why I've told you this is because you've said you can give resources to help somebody who's abused to try to get over.
Oh my God, stop. No, I'm not laughing at him.
No, yeah,
It's
yeah, it
sad.
happens. Yeah.
No, it's very,
Right?
It's very sad.
And I was like I was like, what?
I'm laughing because
Right?
it's so unfathomable because most men
Yeah,
can't be that
even
honest.
even me.
Yeah,
I was
it makes you
I was
uncomfortable.
surprised. So I told him, do you want to press charges? He was like,
Oh,
no.
damn.
Yeah.
So that people know that I was. And
Yeah.
he was so mad about it. And I told him, okay, fine. Here's where you can get counseling. Here's what you can do.
People
Here's
just
what
don't
you
take
can
it
do. Here's what you can do.
serious.
And I turned around and I looked at it. And then the person who he had mentioned. And then I looked at and I saw it was her MO. In the club, she usually picks up drunk guys. It's her MO. She does
Was
that.
she unattractive? Conventionally,
No.
she was not unattractive.
No.
That might get her off. That's wrong. See, that's what I'm saying. She might be a real weirdo, pervert type,
And then
but it's
Yeah.
less of a threat because she's a woman.
and then I realized,
know?
and that's why I gave the
Just like
example, and
there's
that's why I
men
gave
who
the,
prey on
and then
drunk girls.
I gave the example of you when you take him home when he's drunk, and I was like, how many times does it happen? How many times have you been in a club? How many times have you been in a club
Damn
and
right.
seen a guy drunk out of his head, being held hands
Yeah.
by a girl that you'll never see them in daylight together going
Yeah.
home?
No, it happens. It happens, like,
That's sad.
yeah, and I think also the legal system does not take that seriously.
They don't take
too.
it serious.
They don't take that seriously, and that's the reason why, like if it happens to guys, they would
Yeah.
rather just let it go and not talk about it.
I was watching something on YouTube and it was like, well, how did you stay functional if it was rape? Like the guy.
Yeah, I know, and-
like how did it march?
And see, that's the reasoning that sometimes comes through, but hey,
That's why men suffer in silence.
yeah.
And that's a story for another day.
Yeah. Anyway, let's now get to the actual
yeah.
social segment.
That is
And that's the end of
that is the end
Yeah,
of that is the end of this.
I think
first
y'all really
segment.
should pick that up for another episode though.
Yes. Yes. So yeah. So wow, that was a segue that we did not even anticipate, but that's what happened.
Organic
at the One Mic Show.
content.
Yes, organic content. Now we want to go back to Brittney,
Yes.
our guest today. And the last time when you were here in October,
Yeah.
till Omosh stood up.
yeah.
Those comments are so funny.
Yes, there was so many comments.
Oh,
and,
man.
And first of all, we are so happy to say that your videos, especially there was one particular video on why Black Americans prefer West Africa over East Africa. It had the most. That's still the most viewed video on the One Mic Show page.
So where's
But-
my gift?
Yeah, but before we get on to that, there was one comment that came from.
Y'all are so funny.
There was one comment that came from Tiffany Anderson, and this I wanna come back to you because one other thing that a lot of people don't know about you, Brittney, is that you are a history major.
Yeah.
Was it just general history or Black history?
No, African diaspora and United States history.
Okay, all right. So there was a comment from Tiffany Anderson who said, "I've observed several African curriculums, and most, if not all, focus on the slave trade or Egypt. It's so deliberate. There's so much more that that could be taught." So I wanted you to talk about that a little bit.
Yeah.
In as far as maybe school curriculums or even college classes that
So
people take.
100% every class, and I am an African diaspora or a diaspora major. There has been an African diaspora in Australia, South America,
Literally the whole
Canada,
world.
the whole world.
But
My coursework was focused solely on the Atlantic slave trade from West Africa to the United States and the Caribbean, barely even South America at all.
Okay.
So, I mean, and that is at a number one HBCU. So even the fact that there was like someone breaking down to me how like, because people make jokes in Kenya like Luos are the Nigerians of Kenyan tribes, you know what I'm saying? So someone like breaking down the fact that like the Bantu relationship and X, Y, and Z are things that were totally new to me. Like I had never learned. I did not learn about the East African slave trade, and this is as an African diaspora major at a black school.
So East African slave trade is not even taught.
No.
Okay, so how did you get to learn about it? Did you just learn about it, like separately
Just
outside class?
outside of class.
Okay.
But for the most part, the Atlantic slave trade was the focus. So, and that's if you ask most African Americans, I feel like I did not even learn about, what's his name?
Mansa Musa?
No, I
Vasco
knew
da
Mansa
Gama?
Musa.
Lumumba?
Tanzania, he freed
Nyerere?
Tanzania. Did it, yeah. Never learned about him in college.
But then Ali,
Even in my African history class.
but Ali, if we trace back to history, I can understand why they never learned about Eastern Africa. Most of the East African slaves went to Europe because the Europeans were trading with the Arabs. Arabs are the ones
Middle East.
But
the Middle East and Europe, right? They were trading between those two.
But I think that's the problem with America.
And then even when the British decided they are holy enough to stop the slave trade and start hunting slaver ships, it's when the Americas had started coming to
But I think to Brittney's point is that the course that she was learning was about the Africa diaspora.
Period. And we Americanized it.
And this is a university course.
Yeah,
But so you would think
course for someone whose major is that. So that's my point. When you talk to Africans, they know European history, American history, a little bit of this. Like I feel like most African schools, or even just in general, do you know what I'm saying?
There's some version of it that's taught.
And that's a big problem with American schools is everything is super Americanized. So if my major is African diaspora, I should know a little bit about the Aboriginals in Australia. I never learned about that. I've had to do independent research. I should know a little bit about Uganda, Congo, those people who got sent to South America. Like that there's actually dark-skinned black people in Colombia. These are things that I didn't really learn about because it was so American-centric.
Yeah.
And it's also interesting
if you say American diaspora, don't you mean, because what does the word
African
diaspora mean?
African
diaspora?
It's African diaspora.
diaspora.
Yeah, so there's this guy called Mustafa Briggs. All of you should Google this guy. This guy is talking about.
Let me put it in my phone now.
He's actually in the DMV. He's gonna be giving a lecture somewhere in Virginia. I think on Sunday.
Okay.
Mustafa Briggs, he talks about black history in Islam because also Islam has been Arabized and Orientalized, and the black part of it has been erased. What a lot of people don't know is that, for example, and this he talks about like the slaves who were brought to the United States. One thing first of all that's never mentioned is that it's assumed that these people just came from the jungle, that they never had anything going for them. So he was like, when you look at the specific countries where they were picked from, you look at right now, these countries are between 40 to 90% Muslim. So he's saying on average, close to half, or it could even be more than half of the slaves that were brought to the Americas were Muslims, but that's usually erased. Now, another thing that he also brings up is that when he talks about the history of Islam, how Islam came to Africa before it went to most parts of the Middle East. From Micah, it came straight to Ethiopia. And Ethiopia is a country that's around 40% Muslim, but people never talk about Ethiopia as a Muslim country. No. So there's a lot of things he talks about. He talks about prophets who are black. I think he mentioned, was it Moses? There's a number of prophets, and he talks with proof. He doesn't talk, just giving, he's giving descriptions of people who are describing them at that particular point, the texture of their hair and everything. And he says, this is exactly how they looked. This guy, he has a very big body of work, very young guy. He's in his, I think he's in his mid-20s. He looks very young, but he has, like a depth of knowledge that is just immeasurable. And I think also within schools in America, I think also the way Black history is taught. There's a lot of focus on the slavery part.
Slavery as the beginning of Black history.
And then when they do world history, like if you have a child, most school districts, they talk about world history. They never really talk about Africa.
No, the only thing that is taught, I taught world history, let's say Kingdom of Songhai, Egypt.
And that's it.
Yeah, honestly, a little Mansa Musa. Mau Mau was new for me until I went to Kenya, and then I started researching more of the independence. Kwame Nkrumah, maybe if you have the time.
Even for the Mau Mau, it's just a tiny little bit of what
it's a
really
very tiny
happened for the fight of independence in Kenya.
There's a book called The British
Because
Gulags in Kenya.
The history, or rather the education of how the history was done, is that if you look at the trade routes in Africa, Black people were trading with the Arawak Indians way before the white people came, way before Christopher Columbus came.
Yeah.
So the Black people had already made contact with the Americas. That is why we have Black people in parts of South America who were indigenous to that place, like Peru, Colombia. They even went before slavery. Now, as Aliyah said, majority of long-distance trading that was done in Africa was usually done between the Omani Arabs, the Tuaregs, and the Berbers, which are predominantly Muslim tribes. And these Muslim tribes could could actually travel from West Africa all the way to Oman, all the way to Saudi.
And they also talk about like Islam being new to Africa.
Yeah.
When Mansa Musa went to perform Hajj, there's a very popular like story of Mansa Musa going to Hajj because he gave out so much gold on the way that it literally changed the economies of the places where he was going to.
He brought the value down.
So Mansa Musa, by the time Mansa Musa was going to Hajj, it was the 5th generation. He was part of a 5th generation of people
of
who've
Africans
been
who've already
documented.
been,
But do you know that people actually blame him for the opening of the West to slavery? A lot of scholars, because he came with such an excess amount, like just showing so much gold, almost like in a disgusting manner, to where it made like a lot of Europeans like kind of peak. Is what they're kind of insinuating.
Yes, and that's the reason why I think this history needs to be taught better, so that people can interrogate better. Another thing that Mustafa Briggs brings up is the fact that Africans are always coined as people who never used to write. Like there was no like it was always an oral history. Yet when you go to Timbuktu, there's manuscripts that are in existence until today. Actually, that are over 1,000 years old.
Yeah, that is where the first books were written. Yeah. Even if you go to Nepal, on their temple, they have only translated a third of the old readings because there's nobody who can understand that language that they were writing.
Yeah.
It's so old that nobody can go to it. And then another thing that most people don't actually realize is that Islam was in Africa way before Christianity came.
Yeah.
Way before. There were cities in Africa that were actually, well, if you look at the history, let's go to Kenya. If you look Kenya and Uganda, if you look at the history, when the British started writing history, the Kabaka and Nabongo Mumia were Muslim. So these guys had to take their brothers and convert them into Christianity and give them guns to kill and overthrow their brothers and then create a new lineage that supports them. But there was already trade happening between Mombasa and not really where mainland Kisumu is, but within that lake region there was a very big city which was a trade city. So there's so much about African history that has been erased or has been rewritten to fit on slavery, to fit on colonization, slavery, and trying to pinpoint that Africa was discovered by certain number of people.
Yeah, it was just dark. People were just not doing anything. They're just living in jungles.
The way they tried to roam the Amazon.
Yeah.
One of my favorite subjects that I studied at Howard was actually how African Moors went to Spain and taught them how to wipe their ass properly and how to come out of barbaric
And then
lifestyles.
another thing that's
Yeah.
funny is that 90% of artifacts in Western museums are actually African.
Yeah, they're African.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When I went to Benin in Nigeria, and it was like the Kingdom of Benin Museum, it was so empty, and they were like, "Do you want to know why it's empty in here?" And I was like, "Oh my God, why?" And they're like, "Cause all of our stuff is in Britain." Like, it's
Yeah.
sad.
So I guess this was a very
Yeah.
good question brought up by Tiffany, and I think one other like outside this, Brittney, that I'd like us to talk about, because I heard you talking about it. I heard you talking about the Woman King, and you're talking about it so passionately. But I think this is something that we can have a conversation about some other day, because I think it's important for people to also have a depth of knowledge in these kingdoms.
I want to get to these
able
YouTube comments.
to be able to interrogate, like some of these things that we're watching. Now, when we go back to the YouTube comments, there was an issue about you using cuss words, the use of the N-word, the use of black ass, and I think you also brought up.
God, she's so vulgar.
And you also brought up the fact that Africans also use the term akata to refer to Black Americans. But here's a comment from Antebellum Black American, who says in one of the videos, she says, I have to respectfully, oh my goodness, my East African accent is coming out. I have to respectfully point out that not all Black Americans are so casual with cussing and such. My mother did not cuss, my friends do not cuss, and I think Kenyans and Africans in general need to understand that Brittney speaks from her experience, not Black Americans in general.
I speak from pop culture, and I speak as a millennial. I speak as go on the Shade Room, okay, which is something that is representing pop culture, like Nairobi Gossip Club, okay? So of course, does my grandpa cuss? No. My grandpa is a old man, doesn't cuss, prays
Actually,
to
black
God.
people don't cuss.
Every Catholic, he's a Catholic, he's praying to Mary every night, Hail Mary. Is being black a monolith? No. Do most Black Americans cuss? Yes. Stop it.
But let me.
I would say at least 50-50, and that's even a lot. But it's like, I feel like or say nigga, it's probably 50-50. Honestly.
Well, hold on that thought. Let me ask you guys: do Kenyans cuss?
Yes, Kenyans do.
What percentage would you say cuss?
Oh wow, that's something I've never stopped to think about. But yes, Kenyans
in
do
all
cuss.
cultures.
Omosh, what percentage do you think Kenyans cuss?
I think I'd say like 60%.
I say 90%.
Like, come on. That's what I'm
A
saying.
Kenyan will
Come
talk to you. A
on.
Kenya will talk to you where kwenda huko matako wewe unaniambiaje nimekumiss. Right? You go to Mombasa kwa mamako wewe kubaba nini matako. Like a Kenyan will say a sentence followed with insults. Yes, we don't cuss nigger. But we cuss in our own words. Yeah? Guino. You say that.
This is all
how many times have you said
cultures.
guino without even?
This is all cultures.
No, to can him too, right?
I feel like us as humans in general are kind of, wayward, unhinged at times. What percentage of humans drink alcohol across all cultures? Smoke tobacco across all cultures. It's our human nature to be a little unhinged. So when people are like, "Oh, Black people don't cuss," come on now. You got your uncle.
Do you know this one?
Kumbaf. I don't know what that is. What does
Say
that
that.
Kumbaf.
That's a Kenyan. That's a Kenyan
word.
That's a
Kubaf.
Kenyan cuss.
Say the way OneMic said it.
Kubaf.
Kubaf.
Yeah, that's how you say it. Kubaf.
The proper Swahili word is mpumbavu.
Pumbav.
Mpumbavu.
Umpuvavu.
Mpumbavu. You have that MP.
Umpuvavu.
Yeah, those are the enunciations that we need to teach you. MP. We have to pronounce M and P together. Mpumbavu.
Someone said define cursing if you can't say it in front of your mom, but that's what I'm saying. It's every situation is different. Because my mom is 20 years older than me, so we're besties, and I cuss in front of her. We cuss together.
But then, let me define in the Kenyan umesema, right? In the Kenyan terms, right? You cannot cuss in front of your mom, right? You cannot cuss. But then there are words you can say in front of your mom, which are cuss words, and they will go through. The way your mom can say, "Where am I and let it," like when your mom is saying get frustrated, they'll cuss at you.
But I think
it's
I think like the comments that are coming from like someone like antebellum Black American, and this is just my perspective looking from outside, Brittney. You know, like I feel like there's some people within the Black American community who are also very sensitive to certain stereotypes that have been used
I get that.
against the community.
I get
so,
that 100%.
Yeah, so sometimes they tend to feel, like when one person does it and normalizes it, it kind of enforces a certain stereotype, and this tends to work against the overall community.
So let me say this, literally, I am not every Black woman. I'm not every Black person. I am myself, but I do not believe in monoliths, but there are truths to communities. So that's all I got to say on that. Like, what genre represents African American music the most?
Rap. Hip hop.
What is most rap and hip hop talking about? Cuss words, drugs, overspending,
shit and stuff,
treating women poorly. Like, come on. Is R&B, is music Soul Child as popular as Lil Baby? No. Is R&B hitting like that anymore? No, because it's not leading in pop culture. And that's not the main monolith of what's being pushed for the culture. So when I say most Black people cuss, what is consumed by media and most other people who are non-Black is Black people cussing.
Yep.
So even when I went to Nigeria and they're like, oh my God, like, they look at African Americans as what they see on TV. What is shown on TV?
Yep.
Your grandma who doesn't cuss?
That's not shown on TV. And then
it's not shown on TV.
You know something.
And then there's that stereotype. There's that.
Can you say that? Hold on.
Fundo Wewe.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
You donkey.
You donkey. Have you ever had a conversation with a millennial in Kenya? No, not a Gen Z in Kenya.
I can't.
They're unhinged. They're vibing.
They cuss like everything.
They're
unhinged. Yeah, like I was home and
they're worse than Black Americans.
Man, I was home and I was talking to my neighbor. I was like, yo, respect me, I'm your uncle. What the I'm like,
well, it's a TikTok culture, and they're exposed.
Yes, so now they're exposed to what's happening in the whole world.
There's no way I'm sitting like this. I'm pouring my whiskey. A kid comes and tells me, yo, hit me up. I'm like, hold up.
Is that mean?
No. I'm like, these are my nephews, right? And I'm like, all right, hold up. I'm good. Hold up. I'm doing something right now, right? Like, yo, nigga, man, hurry up. I'm like, wait, what did you call me?
but you know, even the Gen Zs.
So for them, it's normal.
But you know, even the Gen Zs, and I think we also need to get them in studio. I also think they're also not a monolith.
Yeah, true. Right. They're not.
The same way other groups are not monoliths. No,
they're not.
I think they're also not a monolith.
They're not. But let me tell you something. I don't know about America, but in Kenya, Gen Z in Kenya are a special breed. They don't give
It's worse here.
They don't give an F. They're the most depressed demographic in that country. They don't give a fuck. They're the most demographic in that country, and they're the smallest. It's like they're this tiny. Have you seen that country? In that country, everybody's small. They're like you ask yourself, what happened to this generation? What happened to these people? They don't care. They will do what fits them best.
I love Gen Zers.
It's
the hustle for me.
I love them, but we need to be careful with them.
There needs to be a
those kids.
No,
I think those kids are so depressed, and
I think the problem in Kenya right now,
they kill themselves.
Before we end this, because we ended at 11, I really want to hear more YouTube. Comments.
And you know, and I think back in Kenya, you know, like with what's happening in this particular Gen Z generation, they are coming into a world where they know, for most of them, there's a high rate of unemployment. They know, you know, like the chances of them, you know, like even getting a decent job are very low. So they have a very different dynamic from when we were back in that age. There was a different comment here that came from someone called Isha with Love. She says, as an African American from the rough side of the tracks, Brittney would view things a little different based on the fact that she's from the suburbs and she's young. my daughter is dark skinned, and I would never call her black ass because it was used to tear us down the same way the N-word was. If you wouldn't refer to your parents, grandparents as either N-word or BA, that's telling in itself. So
That's sad, but she can't speak on my experience as a dark-skinned girl because it's probably worse when you're in white communities, to be honest, because white people also practice colorism. So she can't speak on my experience. And then also, I did grow up in the suburbs, but that doesn't mean I grew up in like areas with non-black people. So, I mean, I get where she's coming from. There's some of us who, like, I don't know how to explain it. My little brother and his friends, they call each other ugly ass. Like, with your ugly ass.
yeah.
And they're all handsome. They're all so handsome. You know you're not ugly. It's just, you're just joking with each other. You're just playing with each other. Do you get what I'm saying? I know y'all have heard, like, kids do that with your ugly ass. Like, you know what I'm saying? So, for me, when I say my black ass, I love my ass.
Yeah.
If it was black, white, cream colored, if I was light skinned, I would still say my black ass.
But still,
I'm a pro-black.
yeah, but still don't call people black ass Kenyans. That may be problematic. That may
Okay.
we're
Work
just
on
telling
it.
you. We're just telling you.
I hear you guys
Yeah,
loud
we're just
and clear.
telling you.
So,
Yeah.
Kenyans, you're not black asses.
Well, they have black asses.
Okay.
You guys are not black asses. Your asses are not black.
They have
Okay.
black asses.
Thank you. I
Yeah,
get it now.
Yeah. So again, you know, like it's just, and that's the reason why it's good to have these conversations.
I think that also you need to ask, why is black bad to you?
Why?
That's a very good question.
Why
What is wrong with
that
having
is
a black ass?
That is a very good question because you know she mentioned something, and that thing we see it back home, right? We see it back home whereby, depending on where you grew up, right? You were being told, where when you Babi? Babi means you grew up in the suburbs,
In the burbs.
in the burbs, right?
Barbie
You grew up in the
burbs.
suburbs. You didn't grow up in the hood. You didn't grow up in Kayole, Dandora, all that stuff, right? You grew up in South Uhuru Highway, this side.
Okay.
Yeah. So they will tell you there's some words you cannot use because we're in Babi.
You can't say that.
Yeah, but
You ain't
but
hood enough.
yeah, it was like there's some words belong to a certain hood and they don't belong to a certain hood.
Okay.
It's the same thing. The way this comment came in that because you grew up on a certain side of the tracks, you couldn't say this because it meant. But then at the end of the day, as you said, you have to be comfortable in some. If you tell me bring me a black ass here, if you're depending on the tone
I'm
that you're
coming.
using, depending on the tone that you're using, I'll be tolerable with it. A white person can't tell me bring your black
Of
ass.
course
here.
not. That's
No.
what, of course not.
So,
But for
so,
me,
so that's why you have to remember, you know, like when you're in Kenya, despite you also being black.
I am blacker than
despite-
most
Oh,
Kenyans.
okay.
Yeah, no, but you're an American.
Pay attention to me.
You're American.
No, listen to me, Brittney. You know, listen to me, Brittney. You're an American, and here's the thing. That's just the context that you are within there. I know it's just the same way. It's just the same way. You know, like there's African Americans who are uncomfortable with Africans who use the N words on them. And you know, for me, despite being black, I personally have no right to argue against that. If someone has told me, you know, like,
Yeah.
you know, I don't want you to use this against me, for whatever reason they have,
Heard.
you know, like I think, and I think that's how we are gonna, you know, like become. It's just like the other word that you brought up, the A word, the ones that Africans use, you know, like
Akata.
yeah, akata. You know, like it's a word, you know, like that a lot of African Americans
Yeah.
take offense to its use, and personally, I'm comfortable with that. They take offense to that. That means, you know, like I don't use it, and I don't have a right to, you know, like start explaining
Yeah.
why it's okay for me to use that word, you know, like
I get it.
against you. So I think it's just one of those things where, and the interesting thing about, you know, like Africa, we don't see, especially a place like Kenya, we don't see things in the lens of race like the way things are here in America, because predominantly majority of the people there, over 90%, 95% of the people there are black.
Yeah.
So people don't have that racial, you know, like perspective.
Tension on their back.
Yeah. So they'll see you as an American, you know, like they'll see you as you know, like as a Jamaican if you're Jamaican in Kenya, and then they'll see me as a Kenyan. You know, like there's a very different perception when it comes to how race is consumed. In fact, I'll tell you this: in Kenya for a long time, I think now recently people have started knowing the difference. A Mexican and an American, they're both white people. To a Kenyan, yeah,
I can't engage in this
both white people
conversation tonight.
They're
It's
both
too
white
much
people.
for me.
To a Kenyan,
Yeah,
Omosh.
this is going to turn into a part 3 because that's ludicrous. as
No,
fuck.
but I'm telling you,
Part 3 is coming.
That's
I'm telling you-
that is unhinged thinking.
Yeah, but I'm telling you from a perspective, you know, like for the most part, you know, like if someone from Mexico drops into a village in Kenya, they don't know. They don't know. They'll just call him a white person.
The ethnicity, what we've been exposed to is black and white.
Yeah, it's black
Yeah.
and white.
We don't know. We
But
don't
it's
know.
also
we
2023 and there's phones, there's TikTok.
no,
there's
no,
video.
No, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, I
Doesn't
hear you
matter.
guys.
Yeah.
So don't get mad when people think that Africa's all huts either.
No,
that's true.
that's true.
Don't get mad.
That's true. You know,
Because-
no, that's true. And you know, and we're also very good at playing along in those jokes. And that's where even someone will tell you, you know, like I killed a lion. You know, like that's where an African will continue the story and tell you I killed a lion. You know, and that's where, you know, I think, you know, like as Africans, we, you know, like most Africans also understand that there's a lot of you know, like lack of knowledge about Africa from the outside. So they're more tolerable to
And I think, and now I wanted to say this. I think when you have, like now, when Micah was talking about his nephews, you know, there are certain words, and we've had this discussion, when sometimes you don't understand the context of certain words, sometimes it's just best not to say them. Like, now, for
not
example,
to engage them.
if you're gonna use the N word, like, and I'm speaking from the Kenya perspective, where I go to Kenya, where people use the word like it's, you know, like it's a regular thing, not understanding the concept and not understanding that. I would not be then shocked or I'd be taken aback if, let's say, for example, say, you know, if you're using the N word, you know, you're BA. So if you're willing to use that and whatever, then you might as well, if you're willing to dish it out, be willing to take it.
Take it.
Yeah, you have to be willing.
Okay,
to
you
take
have to.
it,
So if you're gonna use the N word and behave like whatever, like you so so if she says you're BA,
yeah, you know.
so it's one of those situations where you know, if you don't understand the context of the N word, and that's why we were saying, you know, don't just use it.
Don't engage.
Not even that. There are some guys who actually, you know, the jacket with the Confederate flags.
Yeah.
Some Kenyans were wearing those.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
In
ghetto.
Kenya, no.
Yeah,
And we
and
call
that's a
them-
good example.
and
And
you
we
guys
call
are
them
calling them out.
out.
You're
You know,
like, yo,
like
what
one
you-
of them, actually one of them was Joe Mushiri. You know,
Yes.
like I don't see him so much on social media nowadays. He was wearing, you know, like a Confederate jacket, and I think maybe he didn't know, you know,
That's
like what it
awful.
meant.
But
I think he didn't know.
But
But
you
you
see, I wouldn't
see,
say he doesn't know.
but you see, but the thing is, people told him, you know, like those of us who live here in the US, we were on his page, were like, whoa, take that picture off, take that thing off. And he doubled down and said no. You know, like he's not going to take it off. So
Even, what was it? Was it not Wanyama? What's his name? Somebody, one of these
It's
soccer
not his
players.
ministry, so he can't relate.
So one of these soccer players also had the jacket. Had the, I think it was a T-shirt with the Confederate. They're like, yo, what are you doing, bro?
yeah, you know,
So, but again, and I think these conversations need to be had so that people.
no, it was
understand.
actually it was in a Diamond music video, and I remember.
No, there was that one.
It was
Yeah.
in a
But even
music
before,
video.
but even
Yes.
before that,
That's unhinged.
it was
Yes.
but even before that, it was a soccer play. It was either Wanyama or it was I think either Wanyama or this guy was running for MP in
Mariga. Mike.
I think, but it was a soccer guy
Yeah.
wearing it, you know, and that is why these conversations need to be had, because guess what, the disconnect makes us assume that, you know, like, okay, this is cool or whatever. But once we get to know, then we'll know what boundaries to cross or what not to cross. You know, I know Ali, you know, being a Muslim, I can't invite him to my digs and I'm trying to serve him pork. Right? Or if you know, like, if you don't partake, if let's say, you know, you don't take alcohol and I'm like, yo, my man, you lazima jaribu kiroro. I
Yeah.
can't do that. But once I understand that, I'm like, I'll respect that.
Yeah.
You know, and I will go out of, I'll just say, you know what, this part, I won't say this over here. Just as much as we probably are not going to curse in front of our parents, but there are certain words that we can probably use that are not cursing, but they are acceptable within that context.
Within that context,
You're chilling with your
contextual.
mom.
Yeah.
But when I'm out there, let's say I'm with that nyangao over there playing music over there, or your DJ, never with a nyangao.
Okay. All right, Brittney, real quick before you tell us about your
This
love
combo
life.
needs to be continued though.
Yes.
Part 3.
Yeah, but before you tell us about your love life, because there are people who are reminding me here that you're supposed to tell us something about your love life. The East Africa, West Africa thing amongst African Americans, do you think it's now evolving?
I'm here to facilitate that.
But do you think there's already like a ball rolling where now
I
people
think
are
it's
more
small,
open?
but West Africa is definitely still majority on the map. I mean,
Okay.
it's happening, but even with Meek Mill and Chance the Rapper, all these black, all of these African American artists are going to West
Going
Africa.
to Ghana,
Yeah, they're going to Ghana because Ghana didn't manage them. Did put themselves
Ghana did an amazing job.
an amazing job with the year of the return.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
they-
I'm trying to can someone please get the Ministry of Tourism to reach out to me? We need to focus on African Americans in Kenya and linking the diaspora
Yeah.
to Kenya.
Let me quickly say something about that. Tourism in Kenya has a very colonial history. Unfortunately, it's very white. Even when you look at the marketing material,
Yeah.
they never show black people.
But
they
they-
never show black people
Yeah,
in those
so
pictures.
where does that start?
This is the thing.
Where does that start?
This is the
Change?
I
thing.
talked one second. I talked to someone in the ministry, you know, and you can tell that mentality is still there, because they tend to feel, you know, like those the white tourists have, you know, they come in with high dollars. There's a certain thinking that's there that's not necessarily matched by empirical evidence. When you look at other places where
It's ignorant
black
thinking.
tourists are going,
Yeah, Mexico and Accra.
exactly. But
It's cheaper to go to Kenya on a flight than it is Accra right now, and that's facts.
and there's never been, you know, like a marketing effort. When they think America, they're thinking white, and
Yeah.
that comes from the colonial history that tourism, you know, like has had in Kenya. You know, like of the guy wearing, you know, like those shorts and that hat. You know, like they've not targeted, you know, like and to me, like that would be a very easy target, because I think a lot of African Americans right now are looking, you know, are deliberately looking for places with black people to go to travel
spend
to.
money. We
Yeah,
want to invest in Africa.
Yeah, so I think it's just an opportunity that's not being taken advantage of. Now, Brittney, let's come to your love life. What's going on there?
I am engaged. To
Just
be
that?
married.
How did this happen? You know, like were you dating before? I mean, the last time when you were in studio, I don't know, or did things happen so fast?
No, we've been dating for a while, and I kept him kind of under wraps because I just am tired of talking about my dating life.
You hid him
I did not hide him.
So you hid him from us here at the studio, just asking for a friend,
because you said you were single,
and you are willing to mingle.
and there were some
I
babas
was
who were
feeling
trying
like
to.
I'm single until I have a ring on my finger.
Oh.
You are what you file in your taxes type vibe.
Okay.
Do you feel me?
Okay.
So technically, right now, am I still single? I'm not married.
Oh, so technically you're still single.
Oh,
Do you,
wait.
do you
but
feel the
okay,
vibe?
all right,
you
all right.
are what you file on your taxes
All right,
type vibe.
oh,
But you are
That's
using,
All
you are
right, I
using
like
the
that.
ring, and I still don't see the ring. So the guy did
my ring's
buy
at home. I
Oh.
cut my finger, and it was just a lot going on today. I don't have my
okay.
nails done, so I
Okay,
don't have my ring
okay,
on.
okay.
But
But
I'm
you're
gonna-
you're single
Unle-
until you're married.
Unless you're married, you're single.
Okay, you said that.
that's how I'm feeling. So
She's feeling like her taxes right now. Maybe
are
it's
what you
got
file
something
in
to
your
do with the
taxes.
taxes.
yeah,
I think she just got her
So if you
W2 in the mail.
so if you file married but separate,
Do with that
Yeah.
info. I was get do with that.
But you can
info.
still
No,
do
no,
that
no,
married
think
but
about it,
separate.
think
Yeah.
of-
Or you want to file taxes
Do with that
together.
info what you will.
that one.
I actually met him in Kenya though.
That's fine.
So
As
he's
long-
a Kenyan.
As long as you're not married,
No, the
you're
guy's not
single.
Kenyan.
He's definitely not Kenyan.
She told
He's
you
not
guys, she
Kenyan.
gave you all this stuff, information a long
He
time ago.
wasn't.
You guys were not
he's not
listening.
Kenyan.
He
I
wasn't
mean,
here.
I wasn't not looking for a Kenyan. It just didn't happen naturally.
Even
So,
Wafula.
it just didn't happen. Yeah, I met him in Gemini. And it was a vibe. But you know what I liked?
You met him in Gemini.
I met him in Gemini, but you know what I liked about him? He told me to sit down.
He was aggressive.
Or he
Oh,
he
so-
took charge.
Yeah, I was like dancing, and he was like, "Can you sit down?" And I was like, "Oh."
What were you
Oh,
doing?
how did he say it?
What you doing too much?
Can you sit down?
Did he
now?
have, wait, did he have consent?
I gave him consent to ask me to sit down.
So how did he say it? Sit down, no.
Well, no, we were just talking, and then I was kept dancing, and he was like, "Can you just sit down?" So I was like, "Oh, okay, this guy's serious."
That's what attracted you to him.
Yeah.
Sit down.
No, he
you're-
took charge.
I'm
The
gonna
guy-
try that
the
one
guy
day.
took charge.
Sit down.
He spoke from his chest.
Well, he was
Roughneck.
just kind of like, "What are you doing? Who are you dancing for? If I'm telling you I want to talk to you."
Let me ask you something. Do you know when women call you daddy?
I have a dad, so I don't take it there.
It means
No, I'm not saying no,
It
no,
means-
no.
it means you have made it
Before
in.
they call you daddy,
It means you've made
you have
it
to
in.
be daddy.
Yeah, facts. You got to give
Like-
that vibe.
Daddy, like I'm a baba.
No.
No, take charge.
Yeah,
You know,
like you know what's best.
Be
Yeah.
Make her feel secure.
Like-
be
like you
protective.
think.
Let's go home.
be
No.
protective. No,
Yeah?
no. That's being that's
No.
Or
Yeah.
maybe instead of that, say it's time for you to go home.
It's time for us to go home.
Yeah, I'm gonna go home. You need to go home. There's nothing here for us at this point.
Yeah,
Okay.
like
Let's
you
go
don't
home
want to
together.
get.
Go
yeah,
home
you've
and
had
call
you've
me.
had enough to drink. Let's go.
Go home and call me.
Or let me take you home.
Exactly. Let me drop you off at home. There's nothing here for
In
you.
fact,
This is the wasteland.
I have my cab guy.
That's
Yeah.
attractive. So yeah, long story short, met him in Nairobi. We started hanging out. Then he was like, "Let's go on safari. What do you want to do? Let's date." We started dating. Cool. Then I went back home. Then he was like, "Why don't you come escort me to a wedding?" Went to Nigeria, like met his whole family, met his friends.
Oh, so you had a sponsor in Nigeria.
Yeah,
Ah, okay.
he took me to Nigeria.
She told you guys these things earlier.
Cool.
You guys were
So
just
you're
not
being
listening.
asked, is he a Mubaba?
He is a traditional Nigerian man who what's his is his, and what's his is ours, and what's mine is mine.
Brittney.
Say that again.
Brittney.
Say that again. What's his is his.
Oh God, yeah. Brittney.
I'm sorry, what's his is ours, and what's mine is mine. So he appreciates the fact that I work hard for my own. I don't need anything, but he's generous.
Congrats.
So
Thank
do you
you.
do you see a prenup coming? Just asking for some people who are asking behind the wall.
No, honestly, the funny part is he has more assets than me.
So you
He's
should.
never asked me for anything.
Sounds like a post snap.
So,
Yeah.
So you should. So you should sign a prenup.
No, it's all love. They don't. I'm not going into it like that. So
Okay.
I'm very happy. He is not the
That's what
YouTube type. I've asked him. So like, is this YouTube couple vibes?
That's what they say until they get in.
No, I've asked him. I don't know. We've gone through like marriage counseling.
Do you have a date?
Yeah.
Yeah, she already gave us
I've talked.
this
Y'all don't
information.
watch my YouTube.
No, I did watch.
No,
it.
she
Did you
gave the
give a
information
date?
here. In this
She wants
today.
a bit information more.
sorry,
Like it
go
was
ahead.
already.
So let me
sorry.
break
Give-
it
give
down
the
for y'all.
information.
Let me break it down real quick because I know we're coming to an end. They get court married first so that you can like mess around and it not be like ungodly while you plan the wedding. So we are actually getting court married next week.
Court married
So
here
you
in the
can mess
US.
it out.
Define ungodly.
You feel the vibe.
So wait. Court married here in the U.S.
No,
Hip-hop.
in Nigeria.
Okay.
So I'm going to Abuja. My mother, just my mom, her mate, and his family and stuff will get court married, and then we will begin to plan the actual
Where is
The
wedding.
traditional.
where is he? Where is he? He's here or
He's in Abuja. He's in between Abuja and Nairobi.
Uh,
So we do plan on moving. He loves Nairobi.
Okay.
He does not really want to live in Nigeria, so it's just a vibe. We're on the same wavelength.
I wouldn't live.
So is he gonna come? Is he gonna come here? Or are you
Yeah.
gonna-
He doesn't really want to come. He has family here. He's been to like Britain. He's been to South Africa. He's traveled, but he's never really wanted to come to the States.
Okay.
My family, our wedding's gonna be in Nigeria, February 14th through 17th of 2024.
That's the court
Next
wedding.
year.
That is
Oh,
no, that's
that-
the
No, that's the-
traditional and
the
the ceremony. So they have
the
like a
who.
whole.
So wait. So when do you stop being single? During this one that's coming
Next
up
week.
next
Court
week, or
next
the one,
week.
or the court
Next
one for
week.
next year? Okay. All right. Okay.
Long
just
story
checking.
short, I'm happy. He doesn't want to be on YouTube. He doesn't want me to like.
And please don't force him.
So that means
I'm
we
not.
won't see him on the show. Just
Keep
asking
doing-
for
He
Keep-
said
friend.
that he'll be in the background, but he ain't gonna talk. He doesn't want to be interviewed.
keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah, he doesn't want all that.
Don't mix those two.
Please don't
things.
force him.
I'm not.
Thank you.
No, don't mix those two.
Yeah,
things.
you know,
Just-
like I've seen some content creators, and I'm not gonna
Don't-
mention any names.
Don't mix that thing.
Okay,
I'm
what's
not.
Micah? I've seen some content creators who are very good content creators. Then they involve their spouses, and they mess up their content.
It goes downhill.
Yeah, it goes downhill.
That's what I told them. This is not a couples channel, babe. I'm
Yeah.
vibing alone, but we'll definitely chat. Hey, listen, I expect all you guys to be at my wedding
Where?
Oh.
in Nigeria.
Oh, is this the invite?
This is the invite.
Apparently, this is the invite. So
But you know, can I tell y'all? I open invited everybody on my
Who's-
YouTube. Even I'm not even joking because that's how Nigerian weddings are. Like his kindergarten teacher's ex-boyfriend's grandma
Wow.
is invited. Basically, do you feel the vibe? That's how they are. They do not like a wedding is a wedding is a wedding. So
Okay.
I've really like open invited. My whole family is coming
Oh, okay, so if we come, are you providing accommodation?
of love.
Eish.
Where are we gonna stay? I mean,
I have a website that
has
drops in March.
She has an Airbnb hookup. Remember?
Or you have
I
an-
have a website
that's
that
in
drops
Kenya, not
in
Nigeria.
March.
Oh,
Yeah.
sorry.
You are not listening.
I have a website that drops in March with suggested hotel accommodations for lots
not
of different
listening.
budget levels.
Okay. But now, what if we get kidnapped? What will we tell our parents? who
Oh,
are
but
doing
there'll be. I hope she has security in this.
That you lived
Or
and died
this
for the
bubble.
vibe.
that? Huh?
I think
Just
she
kidding.
Has, she has
Just
security.
kidding. No, I'm gonna have
companies who
heavy
can reach
security.
out.
Yeah.
No,
You
but
live-
I would love for you
You
guys to
lived
come.
and died for?
The vibe. It's like,
Yeah.
No, that's awful. Stop. I would love to have you guys, but it's beautiful. At the end of the day, it's about bridging the gap. I'm excited because this will be the first time that a lot of my African American family members are going to Africa. Period.
Oh, that's
my mom
nice.
is so pressed to come back to Kenya. She's like, do you need a co-host for the trip to Kenya?
So yeah.
Your mom has been to Kenya before.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah, she did not like Deion because it was too many monkeys for her.
Was it the season? Isn't there a certain season?
Yeah,
when,
they were in heat
yeah.
almost. Very aggressive monkeys.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Where did you stay at the end?
Take her to Swahili
She stayed
Beach.
at Swahili Beach Resort.
Oh, so
yeah.
Swahili had a lot of monkeys.
She said it was a
The
lot of
season.
monkeys.
It's a season.
Okay.
If there's
Yeah.
a certain season, they're there. Remember, they migrate. They come.
But the coast is usually full of monkeys, and the
Yeah.
end is a monkey sanctuary.
Yeah. But this has been great. Thank you guys for having me.
You're kicking us off?
No, well,
Okay,
it's
good.
are we not running over?
Yes.
Yes.
We're about to wrap,
We-
we're about to
we-
wrap
we
it
are-
up because, you know,
we have
part 3
run-
is loading.
We have run.
Yeah.
Part
reload.
3
I
is
feel like
already
y'all
loaded.
need to just make me like a reoccurring host at this point.
All right.
I mean,
Oh,
that can be
okay.
Because
discussed.
we didn't
That
even
can be
get to like
discussed.
really touch down on the YouTube comments, and I really have a lot to say to y'all.
What's the one thing? What's the one thing that we missed out that you feel we missed out on the
She's
comments?
so vulgar. She's so this. Like, I'm just honest. And like, would you rather me be fake? Do you get what I'm saying?
Maybe you're
I
too,
don't-
maybe you're too brutal for the African.
I don't like it
audience.
when people equate me cussing with also me being ignorant because I'm extremely highly intelligent. So if I feel like cussing, I can. I have a very large vocabulary, so I don't like the holier than thou because there's a lot of dumb ass Bible thumpers out there who don't cuss at all, and you guys don't know shit. So I don't like it being equated, me cussing, me having a potty mouth with like, oh, she's stupid, she's this. That is like my biggest pet peeve.
Okay.
So you keep not cussing and barely being able to read while I'll be over here cussing as I feel like because I have a vocabulary I can go back and forth. So that's just the one thing that triggers me.
Okay.
I don't like that.
Okay. But for all those negative comments, there was like 10 positive comments.
Yeah,
for each
hella.
negative
And I
comment.
love
Yeah.
all y'all,
Mhm.
literally. And I love all of you guys
Okay.
so much. It was a great interview. And you guys are super fun. I think y'all have great energy.
Okay.
Thank
All
you.
right. Okay. So we're gonna have a discussion with you on the side.
I'm gonna hit y'all up when I come back.
When are you coming back again?
In 3 weeks. I'm gonna bring you guys all Nigerian caps.
African
African unity.
Yes.
African
Just breathe.
unity.
Just breathe.
Very for him.
Okay, so here's the thing.
He'll do well with a Nigerian
It-
cup.
Here's the thing. It's a gift.
It's a
right?
gift.
It's
Yeah.
the thought that counts. So
Yeah.
you guys can't shoot it down before it comes.
I have one question before we wrap up.
Sure.
Have you guys been watching Go Abide?
Go
The
go.
YouTuber. She's a Nigerian YouTuber who is building the first van life series in Kenya. Please follow her and watch her journey. She is doing van life. You know how people do that in America?
Yeah, like RVs.
She's doing it in Kenya, and she started in Nairobi, but she's Nigerian. And she put out this video that went viral saying rent in Nairobi is too high. So
So-
she scratched her apartment and built a van.
I know a van in Nairobi. You know, like it's kind of like an old bus that's an Airbnb. It's really been decked out nice. I don't know
Not
if
as
it's the
big as a
same
bus.
one.
It's like smaller than a matatu.
Oh wow.
It's
Okay.
like a van, and she totally renovated it. Nigerian girl.
Okay.
Very popular series right now in
Okay.
Nairobi. So you guys watch that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's also another popular Nigerian YouTuber. I think he's called Tayo or Toya Aina or something of that sort.
Yeah,
He's
Tayo,
also
yeah.
Tayo Aina. Yeah, he
Yeah,
also has
he-
some very good
Yeah,
content.
the
you
real
know.
I'm loving
estate
it.
guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, he does good
No,
stuff.
there's the real estate
No, he
guy,
does a lot
Stephen.
No, Tayo does a lot of real estate in Africa. Like
Yeah.
when I say real estate, I guess places to visit and stuff like that.
But there's another guy called Stephen Duko. He's exclusively real estate. He's a Nigerian. He goes to different parts of Africa just talking about real estate. And there was one thing that he said about Kenya, and that's why I think sometimes we knock ourselves too much. He said that, there's nowhere. He went to, I think, to Karen, Runda, and just those leafy suburbs. And he said, those places feel premium, unlike the rich parts of Lagos, which are mostly concrete. Because he said there was a lot of green in Kenya. And he said he knows by saying that he's going to get knocked by a lot of people in Nigeria. But he said he had to say it because he saw a lot of green there. And a lot of the rich parts of Nigeria, they don't have the green. It's mostly concrete. So,
Yeah, there's a joke. They're like they're eating everything down. There's so many people.
They eat
But I feel
bushmeat too. So.
Yeah, they do. Oh my god. All right, this
Part
is,
three.
Yeah,
They
part
eat
three.
alligators and crocodiles.
I think
Even
she's gonna learn how to
I
cook
have a
that.
photo.
Maybe
actually,
she's gonna come back and cook that or show us how she cooked a meal in Abuja that was crocodiles.
No.
Stay tuned to my YouTube. If you're not following Brittney in Africa, please do. Brittney Caldwell. Like, subscribe, vibe, pass on my Kenya trip. I'm excited.
Wahenga walinena kilicho na mwanzo hakina budi kuwa na mwisho. Meli imetia nanga. We are about to wrap this puppy up. Sorry. No hit or miss. Time's up. Let's wrap it up.
Okay, I guess that was my cue to know that I am not participating in the show anymore from a musical perspective. But since that's what the boss said, I will go with what the boss said. But yeah, so come back again next week. Thank you, Brittney. Thank you. Have a
Thank
safe
y'all for
trip.
having me. It's a vibe every time.
Enjoy. Congratulations. And I'm glad you found that special somebody who can make you vibe.
Inshallah. Yes. It feels good.
Back to you, studio.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's been another wonderful location of the OneMic show. Happy hours, happy hour. Anyway, the bartender has closed happy hour, so we are leaving. We are going. I just want to say, Miss Brittney, congratulations.
You don't got to go home, but you got to get the.
Don't cuss. Oh, sorry.
You got to get the. Got to keep it classy.
Congratulations on your engagement.
Thank you.
I wish you all the best.
Thank you very
I
much.
wish you all the best on your YouTube channel, and thank you for gracing our shows again.
Thank you.
Enjoy your trip to Nigeria.
I'll see you guys next year around this time.
Inshallah.
And
Next year?
and to
Yes.
You're staying in Nigeria for the whole year?
No, I'm saying for my wedding
Oh,
in
okay.
Nigeria.
Okay.
to all the fans who tuned
Yes.
in, thank you for tuning in. As I always say, without you, it'll just be a bunch of guys talking among themselves. You are the ones who make us do this every Friday. Yeah, but it's a weekend. When you're drinking, don't drive. If you're driving, don't drink.
Yes.
Uber is cheaper than a DUI. And there's still COVID and all those other diseases out there. Take care of yourself. So enjoy yourself. Enjoy your weekend. See you. God bless you. Bye.
Bye, you guys.
Oh, all right, Brittney,
Oh,
your parting shot.
where? I drank all mine.
No,
No.
your parting shot. No,
Oh,
not that
shot.
No.
Oh, damn.
I see where your mind is. I see where your mind
Damn,
is.
I was about to say y'all got more.
Yeah.
If we were trying to hide from an imam, we failed.
I know.
We failed.
And if you're trying to hide the fact that there was alcohol in those cups.
Oh, damn. Sorry. Pole. All right.
Bandio, calm down. Oh, sorry.
All right.
Speak into the
bring
mic.
your-
Speak into the mic.
Speak into the mic.
I speak into the mic.
Yeah.
Yes.
Do I need to say anything or just smile?
Anything. Just say anything.
Whatever.
Your last words.
Yeah.
Thank
say
you all
bye.
for having me here at the OneMic show. I will be back. It is my pleasure and a vibe every single time.
All right. Thank you so much, Brittney, and thank you so much for everybody who tuned in. This was part 2 of Brittney. We're definitely gonna have a part 3. You want to tell us what we're gonna talk about, and then the other thing is next week we are gonna be talking real estate. We're gonna be hosting, a diasporan who sells real estate in Kenya. There was a lot of questions that came up about this, a lot of issues. A lot of people came on my page, some of them were agreeing with me, some of them were fighting me about what I said. So we're gonna bring a real estate professional. We're just gonna be talking about and trying to find out, what is the right way for a Kenyan diaspora living in the US, what's the right way to buy real estate in Kenya to make sure you don't get scammed and that you get a good deal. So that's next week. We're going to reveal who the guest is, so just stay tuned for that. And again, I want to thank everybody who came through. And we look forward to next week. Na kwa hayo machache, yeyote ambaye anataka kunipigia simu, nambari yangu bado ni ile ile 1-800 mteule. Operator akishika simu, mwambie unataka kusema na mjukuu, na akikuuliza ni mjukuu yupi, mkumbushe ni mjukuu yule wa Masai, because I'm Kenyan by blood, American by design, Masai by choice. Sichagui, sikagui na sibagui. Kwaherini.
Aiden, daddy loves you. Jerry, daddy loves you. Nimo, daddy loves you. Until next week. Be blessed.
Nakupenda sana marafikis.
Nakupenda tu marafikis.
Yes.
DJ Matatari.
Mama yo, yatina dwana banyolo, and the